As a young person, one of the most important questions to answer is, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a pilot.
I want to become a teacher.
Soldier. I want to be a nurse.
I want to be a surgery doctor.
Civil engineering. I want to do journalism.
And I want to be a medical doctor. You know, nega bona nega iya kuno nega bora neguzwa nega bora nega iya ndaho kujinja nchito yangu so ndandagoba camera woman.
I'll tell you that I want to become a civil engineer because I have experienced so many things and I've been addressed by so many people, like people who are engineers at the moment, and I've gained interest in that career.
Okay, from first grade to somewhere grade 7, 8, I always wanted to be a doctor. But I had this love for nature and rocks. Like when I see them, okay, they are really nice, they just touch me.
The Zambian Girls 2030 project is funded by the London Stock Exchange Group through UNICEF, being implemented by Restless Development, Zambia. The program has 3 key interventions which are being implemented in partnership with the Ministry of General Education and key NGO partners working in selected provinces and districts. These are school-level career and skills clubs, district-level career and school camps, and career internship programs.
Growing up, mostly we look up to people that surround us, and we see what they do, and perhaps that's what we feel we can also be. I think another thing is that there's not so much exposure when it comes to schools, you know, where people will not talk about careers, different types of careers that are there. I remember growing up at school, and I think everyone was talking about being a teacher, a doctor, a nurse, and we're not so exposed to other careers that are out there.
The mentorship program actually is something that I think is something that we should have started way back. It has actually opened the minds of these girls, see things from a different perspective. You know where they come from sometimes. The best career option that says a policeman, because they can relate, they can see the policeman walking around, they can see a nurse, they can see a teacher. But when they come to these companies, say for instance ZNBC, they get to understand about ZNBC operations, and obviously get to understand that it's not only journalists who are based here, but you have accountants, you have technicians, so it's a whole spectrum of different professions.
Joining me live in studio are the Zambian Girls 2030 Internship.
The parents should not impose careers on the children. They should decide and just help them develop in those areas that they have decided. Because some of them, they'll have some talent in certain areas, and if the parents are not encouraging them, they will not do it properly. Whatever they go into, they will not do it properly because it's not into them. They have no passion for it. So if it comes from within, then they will do it best, because that's what I believe. I believe that if you're doing something from passion, you do it better.
We are going to talk about the script. The script is a right written by a script writer, which guides the representer on what to say or what to do. There are some of the people that are involved in the script. The first one is a producer. A producer is a person who comes out with...
So Zambian Girls 2030 project is a project that targets the young girls. So we want to empower the young girls to transition from primary education to tertiary education. So this project is implemented under the organization Restless Development, and we're in partnership with the Ministry of General Education, supported by UNICEF. So this is a project that aims at helping the girls transition from the primary level to the secondary and into tertiary education through the guidance and counseling. So our aim is to strengthen the guidance and counseling in the schools so that the there's that, to bridge that gap, because it's been noticed that in Zambia, the career guidance isn't up there. So as a project, we are aiming to strengthen the Office of Career Guidance in schools so that the girls, especially the girls, because those are our target.
We've also observed that when it comes to certain subjects, such as science, technology, engineering and mathematics, which in the ministry we abbreviate as STEM, the girls have been facing a number of challenges in participating in these subjects. So as a ministry, we've been making strides to see to it that this challenge, which is faced by many of the girls, is overcome. And in order to do that, we have been implementing a number of programs, one of which is the Zambian Girls 2030 program.
I think it's a very good initiative, and it's good that this program is on to empower the girl child, because nobody should be left behind, and there is need to educate and also empower the girl child, because once you empower a woman, you empower the nation. So such programs are very important to us, and especially that it has come at this time where there's need to be so much exposure everywhere. And it will be nicer though to have their guardians and parents to be mentored as well, because as much as the girls are going to be mentored by us or any person they're going to be attached to, they're also going to be going back home to a place where their mindset is still behind, and they see the girl child as a form of leverage in some kind, because education they still do not value. So we also need to educate their parents as much, and it's just so that the girls can improve more, they can feel more comfortable.
Before I continue, how many of us actually know that the water that we drink?
Books before boys, because boys bring babies.
You need to concentrate on your books because boys bring babies.
Oh, we have to put the books first. We don't have to concentrate on boys because we might maybe end up maybe having pregnant or being found with STIs. So it is important first we are educated. That's when we can put the boys now. You know what I'm talking about.
By focusing on empowerment through career and skills mentoring and guidance, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy education, Zambian Girls 2030 aims at providing girls with stronger female role models and encouragement to pursue studies and careers, particularly in the areas of study and employment traditionally associated with men.
So here in Dola, in Kitwe, we have 100. Then in Lusaka, we have 200 girls, and all those have been placed in different companies to work with. So in those companies, we have mentors. So mostly our target is female mentors, those who have higher positions. So in all that, we hope to inspire the girls and to be able to expose them to the working culture.
In Dola, at the Road Transport and Safety Agency, the girls had hands-on experience with the operations of the agency.
We've been going through the process of obtaining a learner's license, a provisional license, where a client will walk in, write a theory test or an oral test, and then they obtain the document, the provisional license.
This is where the car is being checked physically. The engine is being checked if it's dirty or not, and also just the physical appearance of the car. Yes. And also the other day I was vigilating the candidates who are writing a test, and I was told that I should chase those who are using leakages, and I did so. I caught 2 people using leakages, and I sent them home.
We've also exposed them to the registration process of a new vehicle. Somebody buys a vehicle and comes in, and how the vehicle is registered. We've also made them look at what it takes to renew an expired driver license. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Kitwe, some of the girls had a few of working for the national broadcaster ZNBC.
Okay, I have been attached to work for ZNBC Kitwe Studios. And it has been such an amazing experience in that I have learned more about my career. And I've also learned new things. For example, I never knew that journalists do have sources where they get their news. And I also didn't know that the sources are the ones who are actually protected by the journalists. So I have really learned a lot.
When they came at first, they were shy, a bit reserved. But now, as we got to interact more and more, they could open up, tell me about their aspirations, what they intend to achieve, and obviously what things they need to see get done to ensure that girls obviously get a better education, get empowered and whatnot. So it's a lot actually.
For example, like today we were editing. I've really never edited a program, so it was like so interesting, and it was like, wow, am I really doing this? So it was so interesting, just editing things up, cutting out the unnecessary information, and also putting the audio and the pictures together.
I wouldn't want to see such a wonderful program to just come to an end, because I feel that it has to continue, because the girls, you can even see from the change, it's just 2 weeks of internship, but the girls are getting a feel of the career choices that they can make, and we're trying our very best to make sure that these girls are motivated enough.
The mentorship program in Kitwe and Dola saw the girls attached to corporates like the Patent and Companies Registration Agency PACRA and Bank of Zambia. The hospitality industry was not left out, and some of the girls had a feel of running a hotel.
There's so many departments here. There's housekeeping department, stores department, laundry department, and the accounts department.
I like to work in stores. There is a stores department, that's hotels, where we find the different foods. Yes.
Meanwhile, Workers' Compensation Fund Control Board facilitated internship for some of the girls and oriented them through the operations of the board.
I was attached to Workers' Compensation Fund Control Board. Their main work is to compensate workers who've been injured while on duty and those who've got occupational diseases. My experience was just quite good. The main thing I was doing there was to go through many departments to see what they do in those departments and know why they are working there.
We've supported it for the past 3 years, and I think there is need to do that, because we need to encourage young girls to shape up their career from actually seeing what is happening in the actual field. As workers' compensation, I see that these girls are in grade 10s and grade 11s. As they go back and then finish their grade 12 or whatever, and then they go to colleges, during school holidays, we could allow them to apply for internship with workers' compensation. And because they've already gotten some knowledge, they would be able to do it better as an intern, and that will help them. Eventually, we might even employ them.
A challenging 2 weeks for some of the girls came through at Nkana Water and Sewerage Company, where they had to learn the process of providing clean water and purifying sewage material.
Not really actually the place I wanted to be, but now I'm getting that thing, like realizing if I didn't go there, I wouldn't have known the things that I've known from there right now.
The experience had been cool. It was very fine. Still, I met
some other engineers like chemical engineers and also civil engineers who taught me about getting determined and focused in my education, and also that I can do whatever I want to do as long as I work hard. Okay, they taught us how they treat water. They told us that treatment is a process of making water suitable and safe for people to drink, and there are so many processes that takes place there. There is sedimentation, filtration, and chlorination. And also they told us that before water is distributed to the distribution centers, it must be tested, and the following are some of the tests that happens there. They test for turbidity to see how clear the water is. They also test for hardness of water to test how salty or hard water is, because if water is too hard, it destabilizes the efficiency of electrical appliances, and when water is too soft, like when bathing, you'll be feeling as if there is soap on your body. We learned a lot of things actually. Also, they test the pH value, which is to measure how alkalinity or acidic water is. I didn't know that those people there, they treat sewage water, that wasted water. So they took us there, we saw how they treat waste materials. The same waste materials that us, we think they are just wastage, but they do treat them and send the water back to the rivers for other materials to survive in the water.
Some of the girls went all technical at the national telecommunications company Zamtel with an orientation at the engineering department.
We learned about the MDF, which is known as the main distribution flame. There on the main distribution flame, there are two sides. On the other side is the customary point, and the other side is the exchange point.
Yeah, I can only encourage them, these young ladies, not to get into marriage fast or at the early stage. Education is important, especially for a girl child. When the girl child is educated, it's like you have educated the whole world.
With all these great works happening, one wonders, how sustainable is this project?
We've already linked the Career Guidance Office to these companies through UNICEF. And in that, there's already that partnership that has already been created. So our main aim is to ensure that the girls are exposed to the working culture and for them to gain that interest and to get inspired to do better. Or rather, for them to also decide on which career best suits them.
So this is the kind of programs that we want to see further in the future, just to make sure that this nation grows at large.
For a period of 2 weeks during the August school holidays, young girls from the northern and southern parts of Zambia were camped in Kitwe and Ndola and placed in internships in academic institutions, corporations, and government agencies.
Wali tutungia kwa bakashana noku kutukoselesha ukuthi tungakosa kwamana kuskulu nothi kuba lumendo fyabo.
What a man can do, I'm probably capable of doing it. I never knew that engineering is so that interesting. I only knew that it's for men. But she reminded me to say, I can do whatever I do as long as I'm determined and focused to do that.
Mostly there are a lot of girls who think school is not their thing. Like it's only boys who are supposed to go to school. They are only supposed to be in houses, working and those stuff. I think it's like empowering people, girls to be specific, to do things higher and equalize the balance between boys and girls.
You should always go for your dreams, not like backing out where you just where you find out that it's tough, or maybe you think like you won't be able to manage. If it's your passion, you just have to go for it, for you know yourself what you want. I would just love to thank the UNICEF for coming up with this program. It has really inspired me to know more about my career, and also I have learned a lot, and all thanks to UNICEF.
Ndipa wokurumba oti baratugwa kamba watedi nitetwa hii nte ino twahihiwa. So babereke hanguzu maningi kutegwa rimwe tukatuyoji hiba himbi kwindari henyo twahiba ino.
for the partners, that's UNICEF and Restless Development, this is actually a good initiative, and I think the earlier they roll it to other provinces, the better, because I understand it's happening in 2 provinces, that's the northern province and southern province, but I think every girl needs this opportunity, they need exposure.
Kaidi akade bade chitati omwana kachitalingira okuya ku sukulu alingire efyo kulasambire efyo kukipinga abantu panganda sana nomba nowadays fyali chinja nga papa workers compensation hapo tulewombera ba overall boss is a female, so chitenchita sana encourage nangu ma departments ayengi ama females ebale sangwa sana so bale tuya encourage that even if bene fo bakashana kuti twaisaba ko ngabena.
I would like to express my sincere gratitude, particularly to those who worked tirelessly in 2018 to see to it that this internship program was very successful. And in this endeavor, I would like to name a number of notable institutions and individuals who participated in this program. I would indeed love to thank UNICEF, Restless Development. At this point, I would like to appeal to a number of organizations to come on board so that they can join the Ministry of General Education to further this internship program by either offering financial support or indeed making available places where the girls can be placed in these organizations. So I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to as many as possible of the companies and organizations to be readily available to host our girls for the internship program so that it can continue to be offered to our girls.
Overall, Zambian Girls 2030, Realizing My Potential, is contributing to a stronger education, health, and economic outcomes for girls and women in ensuring a healthier, more prosperous and more inclusive future for the 50.7% of Zambia's population that is female.